Well, as borders open and staff begin to return to work after months of stay-at-home orders and business closures as well, will Australia face an ongoing battle to keep COVID contained within the workplace? Dr. Avnesh Ratnanesan is here for more on this. Lovely to have your company again, Doctor. Thank you for joining us. How do you mitigate and manage the risk of the virus in the work? How do you actually manage and mitigate the risk of the virus in the workplace?
Well, it's seriously one of those situations at the moment where we're going to see cases rise, particularly as the borders reopen and, as you mentioned, also increasing spread and transmission of the disease in workplaces. So one of the things that organizations need to do moving forward, therefore, is to really look at a range of measures that they need to put in place in order to mitigate the virus. So certain things, as we can see, is vaccination rates have increased very significantly over the past few months, which is great. But at the same time, we need to look at other measures such as mask wearing, frequent testing, but also putting in place the appropriate guidelines and best practices that we know from around the world into our workplaces as well. And that's one of the things that can be a bit of a challenge for organizations.
Do you think the attitude here has shifted now, though? Now that we're opening back up and we're experiencing this sense of freedom again, are people really being that, I guess, agile when it comes to preventing the risk here? I mean, everyone's out at bars again, we're going to events again. Do you think it is top priority at the moment for everyone to be careful, or are people slipping off here?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Holly. And certainly there is that danger or that risk of complacency, as we can see in many certain instances where we've put in place these COVID-safe plans, but having implemented them appropriately can actually wane off with time. And so one of the things that we have to do, both individually but also in the workplaces, is make sure that we have this continuous diligence, make sure that we are actually continuing to use the best practices on risk management, to use the guidelines that are available out there, but also try and address the confusion that occurs, and continuously update people and communicate with people the importance of staying, as you said, agile, but also vigilant with regards to compliance with these particular guidelines.
Absolutely. And I mean, not to mention that it's quite confusing. Every week there's different restrictions and the different rules, and that can be really overwhelming and confusing for normal individuals. But when it comes to organisations, you're trying to manage, hundreds of people. It can be quite overwhelming and confusing in regards to what rules, and then are they doing it correctly as well? What would be your advice here moving forward? What do you want to see organisations use in regards to, I guess, processes to put in place here?
Yeah, certainly Holly, it's become humanly impossible to keep up with all these guidelines, and certainly with a lot of the organizations that we work with and the customers that we work with, they have said that, when these guidelines change, it is difficult to know when they've occurred, and they don't get alerts necessarily when important things do occur. And in addition, trying to actually patch and paste guidelines from all the various websites and government agencies that exist can be a challenge. So many organizations are going to their industry bodies as well. But one of the key things that we know is the use of technology can help. Certainly with the organizations that we work with, using technology to understand best practices in real time and to actually implement them is really, really useful to help organizations systemize the process, keep it simpler, more effective and safer as well.
Absolutely. Why not use tech? We use it for everything else, right? Doctor, thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much, Holly. Great to see you.